Anna, I've now made you the presenter. I'm looking forward to hearing your voice, and you'll see a screen share option there as well.
Hi.
There's her
Can
screen.
you hear me?
I can, Anna. Gosh, it's very nice to meet you.
Okay.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for coming here. And you know, a lot of people they fear public speaking almost as much as death. So you know, thanks.
I'm not particularly a fan of public speaking, but I can do it, I guess.
Okay, so what I like to do, and you know, I went to you know, look at your Twitter handle and so forth. But to me, what's very interesting is hearing about someone's journey into trading and how it happened and who opened the door. Did you have mentors? Was there a book that had a major influence on you? So why don't we step into a time machine and tell me how your trading journey began?
So basically, my parents emigrated from Russia to the Netherlands when I was like 10 years old. So I came to the West, and I saw basically that if you don't make it and you don't become rich in the West, you're an idiot because the opportunity is endless, right? So how do you become rich? I figured you have to be a trader. So when I was in uni, I took a 115% mortgage on a flat, which you could do back in the day, and I started punting Euro stocks futures.
Okay.
And yeah, clearly there's varied results. But then I told this to a guy who used to work at Lehman Brothers at a drinks session, and he said, okay, come over for an interview. So I got an internship there, and then I got a job. And I've been trading. I started trading credit default swaps and bonds there. That was in 2006, and I was there till the bankruptcy. Obviously, I loved it. Great time. And then I moved to another bank, and in 2010 I said I want to trade these sovereign CDS things because they look interesting. Because from the financial institutions, the debt has to go somewhere. Where does it go? It goes to the sovereigns. So I basically wanted to be short all these credits in Europe, and that's what I did. Lots of fun, lots of tough times because they wouldn't puke immediately. They would just cause a lot of brain damage for a while, but eventually they puked. I held on and made decent money, and before they puked, I was in a bit of thinking, am I going to hold on to them? They keep rallying back, all this bailout talk, but eventually I said, let me just go spend some money. So I started this animal welfare charity, and it turned out okay. The Greece defaulted, Greece CDS paid out, and I basically
Congratulations. Yeah. And what a fortuitous route you took. You know, a lot of people, Anna, they go to the internet, and we know how many barracudas and sharks that are out there. You know, everyone has, they say that they'll teach you the secret of trading. I believe there is no secret. It's hard work and persistence. Do you agree with me? No,
you have to be stubborn yourself, right?
Yeah, you really have to. Jake Bernstein calls it stick-to-itiveness. So great background. You know, you're kind of a testament that it really only takes one move for you to make a breakthrough and then have.
Yeah, but it's just like the start of the story, because I could trade, but I could trade fundamentals then. But then in 2014, after they banned this sovereign CDS shorting, this market pretty much died. There was literally nothing to do. And I was pretty bored, so I said, okay, I'm going to just quit and do my own thing and help my charity develop and trade for myself. And that's what I did.
So how did you teach yourself technical analysis? You know, I see you have candlesticks here, and I see there's some pivots.
It's not the hard bit. The hard bit was basically I started too big because I was used to trading big size in the bank, and when you start at home, you're like, okay, you think you can easily lose 3-4K a day, but if you do it, actually you can't. So I started too big. I had these wild swings in P&L, and before I really got accepting the size that I can tolerate with my own money, or everything else was kind of useless. And also figure out what am I going to do. But technical analysis is not really hard. In the end, it's trading. Whatever you do, it boils down to the same thing, which is you have to take advantage of pain, look for pain in the counterparty, right? So extreme points. And
so that's an important element in your trading decision is, what's the positioning in the market and who's vulnerable, kind of like where are all the stops?
Yeah, you can see that in the price action as well, in the technical analysis and various. But basically, I trade 2 books for myself, and then a longer term and a short term, and I trade for a fund now where I started literally months ago, and I'm doing top money there, but client money if everything's fine in about 2 months. So the longer term is basically I look at key areas of interest. First, for me, the most important is risk reward. Is there space to move? So currently in equities, I'd say risk reward is to the downside, and then I look at some kind of price action.
Okay, so you're looking at DAX as a proxy for potential correction in equity prices after tremendous.
Well, the thing is why I like DAX as a short is because since all this year it's been all good news Europe-wise, and money has been going into continental Europe, and when and if stuff sells off, it doesn't matter fundamentally what's right or not, if it's US news or whatever, but they'll dump the European stuff, the one they're long, right?
Yes. So, actually, my work shows the FTSE showing more relative weakness than the DAX.
Yeah, I'm looking at the FTSE as well, absolutely.
Well, let me ask you this. What's that yellow line at the bottom of your top chart? What does it mean? What is that indicating?
That's just the ATR.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I mean, for charting, I mean, I look at MT4, and I have this, what this other thing, where is this? I look at that trading view, so I have charts all over.
Okay.
Interactive Brokers is not really good for charts.
Okay. So if you want to go to instruments that you think there's some nice potential setups and what you're looking at, that would be great if you wanted to share a few with us. Yeah,
so on the euro that you guys were discussing, I think I'm with Blake on this one, that we kind of, the reason being is that move from 104 to here in euro, that basically has been a reduction of European risk. French election gone well, all the elections gone well, and I think there are still people short the euro, and this move is, I mean, they still need to be taken out. So in a correct move, in a proper move, the pullbacks are very shallow, especially here. They don't let you in. So I'm long, and I'm going to be buying if it drops a bit more as well.
Okay. So that's a clear view. And the rationale, I think Blake put out an article that all the banks were saying everything coming into the euro the last week or so was on the sell side. So you have a lot of shorts in there. You're going to have to run for cover over 112 or so, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Aussie I just bought some for scalp just here. I mean, approaching 200 DMA, but I mean, it's just literally a short-term scalp, nothing. I like it higher. I think the main view is as long as the dollar hasn't broken up through this box here, it's really still downtrend and not much else to do, then keep being short the dollar as far as I see it.
Okay, let me ask you this. I see different time frames. Do you initially look at longer term time frames like the dailies before you break it down and drill down into shorter TFs?
Yeah, I look at daily, my weekly analysis, and every day I look at multiple time frames, but I look at daily and then I usually execute on the hourly, but if sometimes I'll look on the 15-minute for breakout moves.
Okay. So yeah, the 15-minute you could really nail down a tight entry. What's your, say, average risk per entry on a currency trade? And I know they all have different ATRs, but and do you have a formula for looking for a certain amount of risk to reward, or you're not interested?
Yeah, so on my longer term swings, so swings that I would hold, let's say oil, I'd hold like 10 days or 5 days, or, I mean, depends. I always want to hold longer, but sometimes when it's choppy summer, there's nothing really to hold. I would say that's 2%, and then the short-term account where I basically trade more intraday if there is activity, and if there is no activity, then nothing. So that's between half and 1%.
So someone's asking for your Darwin X handle. Do you have a Darwin X handle?
Yeah, I do. I recently got this Darwin thing because before my account had DAX trades in it, and their system couldn't process me into a Darwin because of the DAX trades, because it has funky closing. But my handle is, I'll tell you, where's this thing? AKL.
AKL. I think that's a AKL?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a rapper in the U.S. Okay, so looking at this, your view is, do you have a view on interest rates? We've got a pretty good bond rally. I would assume with you looking for a weaker dollar, do you think a weaker dollar is going to be accompanied by a continuation move down in yields and up in bond prices, including the bond?
It should, but I don't like to do this kind of predictions on fundamental stuff.
Okay.
I do understand the dynamics, but I don't think I'm gonna have any special insight, and stuff can move like it shouldn't. Okay. I mean, bonds, I wouldn't be long here. Bonds, I'm waiting for a reversal short, but it's not there yet.
Yeah, I was thinking about 130 in the TLT, which I use for. That would have retraced the whole decline in bond prices and rise in yields from the U.S. election up around 130 TLT. Just a number. It's just another number, Anna.
Yeah, we'll get there. We really need some news or something to get people out of a flux, because it's summer markets, right? So no one's really gonna commit any serious money to anything
until after Labor Day, and then the adults come back from the Hamptons and everywhere else. So maybe the summer will be different, Anna. A lot of yeah. So what would you say is the most important thing that you could pass on to somebody who is a retail trader? I've interviewed Jack Schwager, and his quote was, "Find a trading style that fits your personality." Do you have a maxim like that that you could share with our community?
Well, I don't like quotes and stuff. I'm not a fan of, but that's of course great. You need to find that. But for me, the most valuable, I'd say, extreme self-awareness. So if you have to talk to yourself, you need to know when you're about to mess up, and when you basically about when you're following the price or when you're following your own emotions. So I literally have a personal diary where I write non-market stuff when I'm like, what's happening in the market. So I ask myself questions. I'm like my own shrink all the time, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
okay. Okay,
I
so
think,
so NLP says write things down and they have more impact than if
yeah,
you just think them.
write thoughts, and the more descriptive you can be about why you want to do something or why you did something, the better insight you'll have. So in the time where that's how you get to know yourself, that's how you get to know your strengths and weaknesses, basically.
Okay, so we started with DAX. What's your view here? You short DAX, or you looking for another high?
I'm short, and I mean, the thing is, if you want to have a runner, or you have to, like, you have these failures here, right? So all these failures, I short them. And now, if it doesn't have any traction, I'll buy some back, but I'll always keep some core short on because I never know when this thing breaks.
Oh, interesting you say core. So, you know, people say to be there for the good times, you have to be there all the time. But you also trade around your positions and take partial profits when things are working. Yeah, okay.
I'll always take partial profits. Like, some people are against it, but when I take my 1/3 of position off after I make like 1.5 hour, you feel much better, and then you can actually let it go. Yes.
Okay, it's great. It takes the pressure off, and you're in a win-win position. You're not in as heavy, but if it still goes, you're there. Then people that are all in, all out. Do you also scale in?
No, I don't scale in.
Okay, you only scale out.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Any other instruments that are on your radar screen?
So I'm long the ruble, short the ruble, long dollar ruble.
Oh yeah, Steve
I
Augie
took partials on this yesterday, but I do like it. I like it a lot because clearly I'm Russian, and I really do think it's a mess of a country, and it's only going to get worse in the near term. But
because of oil prices, or because of what's happening in the Middle East, or because of what's happening in the relationship between the U.S. and Russia?
No, because of oil, because the relationships between U.S. and Russia are not going to be as good as people thought with Trump coming in, because Russia's society is completely disintegrating, and
why is he so popular then? Why does he get these popularity readings?
Because he shut down, I mean, it's a peasant mentality that people need to work through the communist times. They need a Tsar, they need a god to follow, you know.
The strong man, like Trump.
Yeah, but it's all an illusion. It's all bullshit.
So okay. I tell you what, you are like a glass of cool water, Anna. I'm really so glad I invited you, and I could tell that you're proficient at what you do, but I want to show where your heart really is. Where my heart really is. Because, you know, I say that trading is what we do, not who we are. You agree with me on that?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so I'm showing your website on your charity, and I know.
Thank you.
And I know all the ForexAnalytix team. They're all dog lovers. They all have, you know, multiple dogs. I lost mine last week, about a week ago at this time, and I'll tell you what, Anna, they sure can find a place in a person's heart that even people can't touch. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this? It's not, your coverage is global. Russian abuser,
Well, no,
what's happening in Africa. Go ahead.
the thing is that it's mostly Soviet, ex-Soviet countries, right? Because after communism ended, the human laws kind of got put in place badly, but still, but the animal laws are in a complete mess. And you can find all kinds of things there that you don't find, you could find here in the 17th century, like bear baiting, cat cementing, like lots of poisoning, lots of children get killed by stray dogs, and then the stray dogs get attacked by vigilantes. It's basically a barbaric situation for a country that actually has resources and is relatively, let's say, developed. So I went in there and I saw this, and like, who's doing what? Is WWF doing something? Is PETA there? Is anyone doing anything in terms of humane education or legislation? Basically, no one's doing anything. Everyone is just saving random cats and dogs, but not doing anything proper, like talking to the government, telling the government what they need to do. And so I started this, and with one paid employee, and then got a lot of volunteers, and now we're growing. We're going to have a full rebranding soon. We got some good supporters who are very keen. Next year we might start the building of the first, literally the first in this big country, wildlife shelter for wild animals, so bears, lions, and all of that.
I want that doggy. So let me ask you this. Do you think that people who have lost pets should wait a certain amount of time? You know, a lot of people like, I'm probably asking this for me. I am asking this for me. Yeah. Before they go out and adopt another pet, so that they're not just looking to replace something you can't replace anyway. I've had several dogs in my lifetime, and it's amazing how you can love, just like you could love more than one person, or, you know, perhaps Absolutely. In your, you know, perhaps even romantically, maybe you've loved more than one man. I've loved more than one woman. But do you think there's a waiting period before you should
basically my cat died, and I was very sad, but my thoughts on this are like this. I have a great home I can offer a animal from a shelter, so
right.
It doesn't matter if I'm sad or not. I just teamed into a shelter within like 3 weeks, and I got a new cat.
Okay. Anna, I'm so glad that I reached out to you on Twitter. I think that people could learn a lot from you, but you don't even have an axe to grind. You know, most of the people that I interview, you know, they want to teach people how to trade, or they have a signal service. You have nothing like that, do you?
I have nothing, and I have no time to do any of that.
Okay, so, you know, I would recommend that people donate to Anna's charity for her giving her time to our community, and also recommend that they follow you on Twitter. And I'm proud to call you my trading warrior sister, Anna. Very nice meeting. Very nice meeting you, and thank you for your time today.
Take care. Thank you.
All right. Everybody, bye-bye. Hope everyone enjoyed Anna Kogan Nasser. She's very, you could tell that she has a lot of confidence in everything that she does in the markets, and has the mind of a trader, spirit of a warrior, and heart of a lion, and even protecting lions. So everyone, I hope you have a great afternoon, a great evening. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And we'll see everyone tomorrow. Thank you, Steve Volge, for your excellent analysis today. Thank you, Blake Morrow, for your always good analysis every day. And thank you, Face, for your contributions. See everyone tomorrow. Adios.